Yeah, kid president expressing his truth. Awesome, huh? Mm-hmm. So I've been hitting the spiritual gifts, and I'm going to continue to hit the spiritual gifts. The thing is that we all have spiritual gifts. And the list that I've been talking about in 1 Corinthians is just the beginning of the list. It's not the whole list. It's the beginning, not the end. But we're still going to hit some of these gifts. One of them today is the utterance of knowledge. I particularly like the way that is, the utterance of knowledge. Now, perhaps when you were a little child, somebody said you had a gift in something, and you were encouraged. Clearly, Kid President had some encouragement and help in putting together his video and expressing his truth. And maybe you expressed a gift, and you had an experience where you expressed a gift. I know people have told me these stories where they're in kindergarten and the teacher says, "Don't sing," or, my mom had a story that just like went with her whole life about she was drawing and she was visiting her cousin's classroom, and the teacher thought she was painting, and the teacher thought she was making fun of the kids because she just didn't know how to paint. So she, my mom just was shamed for that. You may have had an experience like that, encouragement or discouragement. And what I want to read to you is something that came out of that discouragement of your gift. We had Patricia Hartman in concert on Thursday, who was at that concert. It was an awesome concert. And one of the things she did was she wrote her lyrics out on a piece of paper. And I want to read you this one little song. We are going to have her back on Sunday. She agreed to come back and sing for us. And when she does, I'll have her sing the song. But just listen to these words. This is the words to the song Ember. Here comes the dark, I'll bring the light. It's more than just a flash, oh, will you trust me? Here comes the fear, I'll be the brave. It's more than just a childlike tendency to jump. I am a warrior, I am a child soldier. Dust from a star. I am an ember, and I am here to burn. You underestimate my voice. It may be small, but it comes straight from heaven's window. I see the torture that you feel with each choice and consequence, but I always fall in grace. She told a story at her concert about how she was a singer and something happened to her, some kind of, maybe it was internal, but I'm guessing there was some external discouragement where she just stopped singing and stopped performing music for years. And then something happened, and she had the courage to regain that gift, to start writing music and singing music, and she started by singing at open mics right here in Des Moines, a couple of years ago. And she told herself she would sing a certain amount of times. She made that commitment. She had that courage. And what a gift it is to hear her express herself, to hear her express her knowledge. I believe that spiritual knowledge, the utterance of spiritual knowledge, is different than just talking about facts. There's a lot of places we can go to facts, isn't there? But a spiritual gift is a gift that serves a spiritual community. It's innate in us, it's something in us, and it is in a very real way called out from us by the people around us. Patrice's music was actually called out by the people who would listen. It was one thing for her to have a gift and sing songs in her room, which she did, and then a completely different thing to sing songs for other people. Really, everybody has an utterance of knowledge. We have spiritual knowledge, which is in us. And it is like the burning ember she talks about that we want to express. It won't let us go. When I first wanted to be a minister, I remember I was at a Unity church, because that was the first time I thought I could be a minister. It was about 30 years ago. Okay, 25 years ago maybe. And I actually started shaking because I got the thought, oh, I could do that. And then I thought immediately, oh, no, I can't. Or no, I don't want to. I don't want to stand up there and talk to people. But it was a burning ember that wouldn't let go of me. It just wouldn't let go of me. A lot of times when you apply to Unity Ministerial School, they say this thing to you, and you think it's dumb the first time you hear it. You should only be a minister if you can't do anything else. You think, well, that's just stupid. But eventually, what it means is, in a way, that's the truth for everything, right? We should only express who we are, how we are, and however we do it if we can't do anything else. That's what I want us to think about the knowledge thing, too. Now, spiritual knowledge, let me tell you, some of the best spiritual knowledge I have is knowing when not to utter anything. Knowing when to stop, to listen to the other person, to listen even more importantly, I mean, it's very important to be present and listen to the other person, but even more importantly, to listen to the voice of Spirit inside you, the knowledge of Spirit that is in you, and it is unique in you. And your knowledge of Spirit is in you, for you, and nobody else can tell you. I'm going to be going on and on, wah, wah, wah. There's a little bit of wah, blah, blah. There's going to be some of that. But what I say, if it sparks you, it's your knowledge that gets sparked. It is your knowingness of what God is in you and what Spirit wants to express that's going to get touched. It is that burning ember inside everybody. This was a great week at Unity. There was a lot of things happening. We had John Monday, who came on Tuesday. He talked about his experience with A Course in Miracles. And he also does this stand-up comedy routine at the end, which I just love that. I love it. He's funny, and he has wisdom. And we had the concert with Patricia, expressing her light. And we have the things that go on every week. Deb does healing music on Tuesday, and the sound healing, and we have a caring and sharing group where we meet together. We pray. We actually just pray out loud together. Anybody wants to come to that? We have a lot of groups. So there's beautiful opportunities to come and express yourself in community. And then Friday night, I went out and listened to music. Listened to Chad Elliott, who is a singer who has done a concert here. And he's this wonderful musician. He's a musician. He's also an artist, and I was really interested in hearing his story because I believe he started out as an art major, and somehow that wasn't hitting his sweet spot. So there was something in him, this burning desire to express in a certain way. And what it was to write songs and sing them. He has a wonderful, lovely voice, and he plays the guitar like just, awesome. But it's not just the music. It's the expression of his soul that touches. It touched me in a way I can't even say. It's like sometimes you hear a poem and it makes you want to write poems. You see a painting and it makes you want to paint. You hear somebody. When I heard him, it made me really want to tune in and express my soul. He talked about how, there's songs that are really popular. I think he was joking about that song, Red Solo Cup, which people like. It's a party song, it's a drinking song. He said there's nothing wrong with that. He said, but sometimes when people make requests of him, say, I want you to sing Red Solo Cup or something, he goes like, that song is not good for your soul. I'm going to sing you this song. This song is going to be good for your soul. That just struck me. I want to live from that place. I want to live from the place where what I say is good for your soul. My soul too. But I want to be the spark that's good for your soul. And then that's the sword of truth, man. You start thinking things like that, and the sword of truth gets raised, and you realize, what do I need to cut out? What happens when I go unconscious and get irritated? I am not expressing anything that's good for your soul. And I want to tell you what I believe my burning ember really is, It wasn't really just to be a minister. That's like I really, after being here, I tell you what, that is the most ridiculous title and job description. It's just some sort of bizarre made-up thing. But I do know what my burning ember is. My burning ember is, and a little backstory, go backwards in time, I started out as an art major in college too. And I love art, and I still love art, but it didn't have me by the entrails, It didn't hold on to me and not let go. So I still love to do art, but it was not the burning ember of me. I was an art major, then I got into, I worked in recreation. I loved working in recreation with kids and summer camp. I love that because I love community. It wasn't until I found unity and started exploring my spiritual path. So my burning ember is being on the spiritual path, and as I'm learning, teaching, because I don't like to learn alone in a room with my mouth shut. I really learn it when I get to share it. That is my burning ember. If I can share something that sparks a little bit in somebody else, and then it sparks back in me, that is my burning ember. I am passionate about being on the spiritual path. It's like when I discovered unity and A Course in Miracles and a bunch of stuff all at one time, it changed my life. It blew it wide open. It's because then it's like, I knew my purpose. Like, my purpose is to be hooked up spiritually, to express God, to express spirit, and to be with other people who are doing that too. Because it's so wonderful. When we do that, it's like that's when we get to be everything is holy now, and be in the moment. And the other part of my burning ember is that I am able to express the other side of that, because the journey is not all roses. There's times when I wake up, it was a little bit like that for me this morning. You wake up and the morning breeze feels like sandpaper, right? Because there's something that you're raw. Chris said he had a bad week, It doesn't even have to come from circumstances. Sometimes you just wake up and you feel as if everything hurts. Just breathing hurts. Being alive hurts. And we all know that, and we all have that. And for me, the biggest gift of the spiritual path is the opportunity to use that pain, to use that in the moment and go through it and transform into the other side, knowing that we go in and out of that. You know, that is my burning ember too, and I believe that is if there is a gift of knowledge in me, it is that gift, that I am always going to keep remembering that and reminding myself and others about that it is going to hurt sometimes, and that the hurt is our step to unfolding. That I'm sorry, that is just the way it is, that it's going to have to hurt. We're going to have to be through the hurt in the moment and use all the spiritual teachings that there are. The most important being in the moment, being in the presence, calling on the presence of the Christ that is within you. The presence of all that is in you, calling on that presence. Thy will be done, not my will be done. Thy will be done, which is our higher, greater self, which then gives us that opportunity to express the burning ember, which never goes out. Even when you throw that burning coal in the ocean, it keeps burning. So, I ask you, what is your gift of utterance of knowledge? I know it's in you. I know it is there burning. And I know that we want to see it unfolded. I want to leave you with this one thing. It is never too late to be kid president. Let's take an offering for unity.